Hi everyone, today is unboxing day and this is fresh in. This is the Optoma UHZ50 projector and it is a laser projector. So just arrived today. It had been released recently, announced about a month ago, and it is barely in stock anywhere. This one came from B&H Photo and Video. As soon as I got some in stock, I got it in. There are not a lot of reviews about it out there. I think there is only one official hands-on review. There's some customers who've got it and have already given their impressions of it. So there's not a lot to go on in terms of determining how good this projector will be. So, well, let me not bore you with long stories. Let's go ahead and open up this box and see what's inside. So, got my small knife. Let's put it apart. So, as I said, this came from B&H Photo, and they sent it in about 2 days. That was very impressive. It shipped out from, I think, their offices in New York, and it got here before I was even prepared for it. So looking inside of it, it's not very heavy. I believe it's about 9 pounds or so. When I was searching for some projectors, some of them were pretty heavy and large, so this is not too big at all. So there the beauty is. You can see the buttons at the top. Okay, we get our pad, moisture pad. So there the projector is. Alright, let me put this aside for a second. See what else there is in the box. You can see there's the eco packing in there. There's also a compartment over here where we have some additional stuff. We have some information. This one is a summary of the product, it looks like. And this is information on sorting out the image. So it talks about warping and keystone, Android apps, HDMI, enhanced gaming mode, a bit of other information. We'll get back to that. In here, what do we have here? I think this is the instruction manual. Quick start guide. So that's the quick start user manual. What else do we have here? We have the power cable. There's more stuff. Not sure what this is. It's a part of some sort. It looks like a HDMI, well, a USB device of some sort. Let me open it and see. Yes, it's a USB. It seems like it is a... No, we're going to get to it later. It's big and deep, and we have quite a slender remote control over here. I thought it would be the size of some of the other chunkier remotes I've used in the past, but then this is very slim. It's going to get lost easily. Alright, apart from that, check and make sure there's nothing else. And that pretty much is it. Okay, let's take a closer look at this projector. So, not very heavy. I'm going to check the specs on the weight. Okay, according to the online specifications, the gross weight is 14.3 pounds and the net weight is 10.5 pounds or something like that. I have no idea what that means. Does that mean the weight includes the power cord and stuff like that? I don't see why there's such a big difference between gross and net weight. Anyway, so what do we have here? We have our zoom here at the top. That's this lever over here. And this is our lens shift. It's a dial over here. Okay, we got our buttons, power. I don't know what these are. We're going to read about them. And look, let's take a good look. There's cooling on the sides, cooling vents. On the back we have 3 HDMIs. This one has a gaming console on it, so I suppose that's where you connect to get your gaming modes. This one is HDMI, HDCP 2.2. And this one, HDCP 2.2, and it adds pure motion there to the label. So USBs, there are 3 USBs over here. And the first one is labeled power out. It also has a 5 volt, I think that's a power supply, 1.5 amp service. Over here we have a network port over there. We have optical. We have a RS-232. We have a 12 volt trigger over here, and this one here is the audio out. And we have a 3D sync port over here. We have a lock, so if you want to lock it down to something, that's there. And of course the power is over here. Okay, so you can see the lens is offset. And looking underneath the unit, we have the legs over here. We have the 3 legs, so they seem to be adjustable. So if you want to adjust the height of the legs, just turn these knobs at the bottom. And they are raised, so you can see they're slightly raised. Something else that is raised are these 3 mounting points for mounting this to a projector, what do you call it? Your projector mount, ceiling mount. So the good thing is, unlike some of the other projectors, which have a very uneven mounting points, I'll show you in a moment. This one is easy. It looks easy to place the projector bracket onto it. So I think mounting it is going to be quite easy. I believe you focus it by turning this. Got a zoom lens 1.3, and it says it's f1.94 to 2.23. And I believe that is our infrared port for our remote control. So that seems as if it is a good start for this projector. Dimensions, I believe, let me read the specs off the site. The dimensions are, the width is 13.27 inches, the depth is 10.43 inches, and the height is 4.82 inches. So, is this a projector that I've been waiting for forever? Actually, to tell you the truth, I did not want to buy this projector. And so why did I go ahead and buy it? Well, the reason is this. This is my old trusty BenQ HT3050 projector. It's a very nice projector. BenQ have been a trailblazer when it comes to providing superb budget projectors for the home theater market, and this one is no exception. You know, they had their breakthrough W1070, and they followed it up with the HT2050, and the 3050 adds a few more features to the 2050. So unfortunately, this one is dead. I tried reviving it, tried to service it, and it is just not going to work anymore. So what made me want to choose this projector over here? Okay, the BenQ, you know, it's a fantastic projector. However, it is a lamp-based projector. That means the lamp has a limited lifetime, and my projector is on for a significant amount of the day, either displaying you know, informational videos, providing background, you know, or even live streaming stuff like I'm a big fan of the Starbase live stream and watching what Elon Musk is up to down there in Boca Chica. So with that, you know, the bulb goes pretty quickly. I believe I've gone through 2 bulbs already, and each bulb has lasted me barely over a year. And during that experience, that period, the bulb is dimming as well. So your experience is being degraded as the bulb wears out. So that's the first reason for changing it. I don't want to be changing bulbs every so often and dealing with a poor quality image. With the laser projector, it gives you 20,000 hours, a minimum of 20,000 hours. So the website says 30,000 hours of viewing. That is awesome. That's going to give me at least 10 years out of the laser projector. It's going to be a brighter image. The BenQ is rated at 2,000 lumens, whereas the Optoma is rated at 3,000 lumens. And brightness is something I could use. Now the BenQ, the new one, the new version of this is, well, the current version of it is the HT3550. And that one has a few more features over this one. It's got the 4K, it's got HDR, it's got dynamic iris, and a few other features that come with modernization. It is still lamp-based. All this projector for the life it's given me, but I can't put up with the servicing that it requires. So when this projector died on me, I opened it up to see if I can service it. I went online, looked for advice, and went through the steps. However, it didn't recover. But opening it up was a revelation. It was extremely dusty inside. And what was eye-opening is how exposed the parts of this projector are. So the color wheel, for example, the path from the lamp through the DLP chip out through the lens unit, a lot of it is exposed, so any dust that gets in there is going to be very hard to clean. In fact, I made a very bad error of trying to blow out the dust. The way you dust your normal electronic stuff to get the dirt out, and that proved to be a disaster because the dust entered some of the parts, and I ended up with splotches on my image that were impossible to eliminate. So another reason why the BenQ is a very good projector, at least from my situation, is that it is a very short through projector. I am getting a 135 inches diagonal image from 10.5 feet, which is incredible. There are virtually no other projectors that do that for home theater. So the search was to find a projector to replace this. Well, BenQ had the new projector, which is the HT3550. Unfortunately, that is still lamp-based. I actually bought one of those. Great image. However, you're still looking at a short lamp life, and it was also very noisy, which is a surprise. With the cost of that one, it is not cheap either. The thought of having to have it degrade in time and not be able to service it properly was not very attractive. So I started looking at laser projectors. Now the interesting thing is that there are many laser projectors, budget laser projectors in the market. For form-through projectors, you had your traditional projectors. Initially, laser projectors were very expensive, in the tens of thousands, but then they have brought that technology down into the budget space, and these projectors have recently broken into that field. So there are not very many of these very affordable laser projectors in the market, so the choice is not wide. So what have appeared on the market are these what are known as laser TVs. Basically, it's a box that you put right in front of your screen, and it projects an image up onto the screen. Unfortunately for my situation, I'll move the camera up. You can see my screen goes all the way down to probably 4 inches off the floor, and you need a significant amount of clearance for your laser TVs. In addition to that, having a traditional projector setup, it was sort of a backward step to have a laser TV down there on the floor. It's going to be dusty. For this room, it's going to get in the way of people moving in front of the screen. Well, obviously not when watching. So a laser TV was not going to work for me. In addition to that, the image quality of a laser TV, it is awesome, but then you should be able to get a better image out of a traditional projector. However, there haven't been very many budget laser projectors that are more traditional, like this BenQ. So it's only recently that manufacturers have started bringing laser projection technology to your standard medium and short throw projectors. So one of the projectors I looked at was the LG HU810P. It's a very nice projector from LG Electronics. However, the deal breaker was that it could not project an image that was large enough for the distance of my throw. It also doesn't do 3D, and I have some 3D material. That wasn't the deal breaker, however. It's just that it couldn't give me the size of an image that I wanted. We also have BenQ entering the market, and they have a new projector. It is the X3000i, I believe. That one also suffers from the problem of not having big enough an image for its throw. You need a significant amount of distance from the screen to project the kind of size that I want. So that one was kind of a disappointment. And I suspect that the laser projectors that BenQ will release for the home theater market, because the X3000i is a gaming projector, they will kind of use the same light engine. I suspect they will, and that's not going to help me. So this one popped up while I was searching for a replacement projector. The specs are just about what I need for in terms of throw. It has a laser, a light source, of course. It is 4K. It uses the pixel shifting, so it takes a 1080p chip and it shifts it around to form the 4K image. And this was very interesting for me. All those issues about dust getting into the light path, the Optoma has a sealed light engine that is IP6X rated. I'm not entirely sure what that means in terms of what is sealed. I was looking at the picture and trying to determine from the literature and the picture what exactly is sealed, because one thing I was not clear on is whether the color wheel is sealed. Anyway, I'm trusting that it is sealed, and this will be far more hardy when it comes to preventing degradation due to dust. Now the priorities for this projector are gaming. It's a gaming projector, and it looks very similar. Let me get this out of your way. It looks very similar to their previous model, which is the UHD50X. I think it shares the same case. The difference with that one is that it uses a conventional bulb. Now, the priorities for gaming are low input lag, fast response time, and brightness. Resolution for gaming in itself is not really a priority. However, Optoma has got a good reputation for sharpness for their 4K images. Now there's something else that this projector has. It is Android TV capable, so it is a smart projector. You can load your apps and play, your Netflix and your other, YouTube and your other apps off the projector itself. It also has some internal speakers, so you could set this up and use it as your entertainment home theater system. However, I prefer not to do that. I have other streaming devices that go through my home theater receiver out to my home theater speakers, and it makes far more sense for me to use an external device other than rely on the projector itself. You'd also need to extract the audio from the projector and get it back to your hi-fi system if you're using a receiver. Whenever technology changes, you can always switch out your streaming stick or whatever you're using, your Google Chromecast or your Fire Stick. Whereas, with this, you're stuck with whatever app is in there. I mean, you can start with this and then switch to a Chromecast later. But anyway, you see where I'm getting. So I think what we're going to do now, enough talking. I've talked for ages and bored the hell out of you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this on a mount, and we're going to set it up. But wait, there's something that we haven't talked about. It has keystone correction. I'm not sure if that is automatic or manual. And it has vertical lens shift, so you can shift the lens up and down by, I believe it's 10%. So without further ado, let me try and find where I put my bracket for my projector mount. We're going to screw it on and we're going to get this thing up and running. Well, holy smokes, I was kidding about finding the projector mount, but sure enough it made me pay for it. It took me about 3 hours to find this freaking thing. Never test your luck. Alright, so we were talking about mounting the projector. On this projector, this is not too bad. You can see the legs are raised, but for one of the other projectors I had, it actually, something got in the way of the projector legs. So that caused an issue with trying to set the mount as ideally as possible. In this case, I see this one's not too bad, but the Optoma is even better. You can see there's no obstruction. You can mount the legs anyhow and they should fit easily. So what that means is that it shouldn't be too much of a problem trying to find the ideal mounting position for the projector, and also we'll be able to get roughly in the center of gravity of the projector, so that'll make it easier to stay steady in the long term. So let's take a tape measure and see how things measure up. So this first leg is about 3.5 inches. That is about 6 3/4 inches, and I think that's the same with this one. So from the lens center, if I take the lens center to be here, it's about 3 inches here. This one is probably about 1/4 inch offset, and this one I would say is about 5 inches. So that gives you a rough idea of where all the legs lay. Alright, so let's get to mounting this projector. So let's plug the HDMI cable in. And with that plugged in, we have about 7.5 inches of clearance. So that's what we're going to use. I need every single inch of throw that I can get out of this projector. We got the power over here. That goes in there. Got the So the remote, as usual, has a tab that you can remove to expose a battery to its contact. Well, I'm going to use a dirty fork to undo this back cover. And we have a CR2032 for our remote control. Alright, we're all set. So, time to boot up. Press and here we go. It's not turning on, so... oh, there it is. Oh, that is nice to see. So, okay, I've got English. Can you guys see this all? I believe you can. Okay, it gives you the bars, so we can adjust the focus. That is some razor sharpness. Gonna skip that. Gonna agree to terms and conditions. Go home, press the home button. And we're gonna go back to HDMI 1. Okay, let's try that again. We are going to go to HDMI 1. Now, that is amazing. Alright, let's test how fast this projector boots up. So you're going to see it in real time. So I'm going to power it on just now. And the projector is starting up. I can hear the motor whirring of the fan. It is searching for a source in HDMI 1, which should be my NVIDIA Shield, and there you have it. So that gives you a good idea of how fast it is to start up from a dead cold start. So this is Ant-Man on Blu-ray, great colors, and I have to say that it took me quite a while to tune the colors to where I got them half decent. And again, no complaints. It produces a great picture over here. If you're a movie buff, you will have no complaints. Very good light output. Blacks are not anywhere near what you can get on a good TV. However, for a projector, they're perfectly fine. If I was a movie buff, I wouldn't have any complaints at all. Now here is where I have a little bit more of a problem. This is YouTube. This is one of the 4K channels. And I do see some artifacts with some of the parts of the video. Especially where you have a lot of detail. For example, the trees, where you have small transitions between dark and light. You kind of get like a screen door effect, and it's more noticeable here. And this affects me because I primarily stream from YouTube for a lot of my content. But for the rest of you, if you guys are movie buffs, or if you are streaming movie buffs or streaming media, like Netflix, Hulu, that kind of stuff, where the content is guaranteed to be at a good level, you'll have no complaints at all. And honestly, with YouTube content, most of it is fine. You get used to it. It's only in this particular video it stands out in prominently. In other videos, it looks passable at all. I have compared this with the BenQ HT3550, and the BenQ is better at handling these artifacts, and they are nowhere near as prominent. In conclusion, I would say that as far as the image is concerned, this projector reminds me very much of an LED TV. It has a great light output. However, the colors seem, not quite right. For most people, if you love an LCD TV, if you're okay with the image, you'll be fine with this. The whites are very white, and they kind of, blur out the details, the color gradient. With the BenQ, the color uniformity or the gradient looks much more realistic and uniform to me. For many of the people, not be a question, an issue, but then for me it is. I've never really taken to LCD TVs, even some of the better ones for that reason. And you notice things like with faces, you might notice that they tend to be pink, and some of the colors seem, not quite attuned properly. One issue I had with this projector is the standard modes just didn't seem to work for me at all. I had to do a lot of tuning to get it to where it looks half decent to me. And it probably can get better in terms of color performance if I was able to have it professionally calibrated, or if I were to study the details more. But then, compared to the BenQ right off the bat, I was able to find color modes that I liked and settled into the projector. So it seems as if I'll be returning this, but then the reason I'll be returning this is because of my preference. I watch a lot of YouTube content, and I see problems in some of the YouTube content. For movies and for Hulu and Netflix streaming and your other regular service streaming, it looks fine. For most people, it'll be passable. Let's take a peek at the menu. So we go to the home page. There's a home page button over here. So yeah, we can see we have our 3 HDMIs, and each of them have different capabilities and shortcomings, so you need to check up on the documentation. So it'll be good to check in the manual to see what these outputs are best for. I think they are customized for certain specific uses. I believe HDMI 1 is very suitable for gaming consoles, and 3 for movie playback and movie streaming playback. Anyway, I haven't got those details with me, so it's best to dive into your documentation to check them out. So what else do we have? File manager. I haven't really looked into that. Let's see what's in there. So it's your normal Android internal storage. I can see that there is 7.6 gigabytes free out of 16 gigabytes. So let's go back home. What else do we have? We have Creative Cast. I believe that is like Chromecast. And we have Optoma Connect, which I believe is Optoma's Android interface. Okay, so it seems as if we have to download the app. I have no interest in setting this up, so this is something that you might want to find more information on. I'm not going to use it at all. Okay, input source. You can change your input source there, or you can just select one of these input sources here. We have our settings. So this is wallpaper, digital gallery and home shortcuts, wireless and Ethernet connections, and there seem to be a number of ways to get into the system setup. System update, internal storage, and keyboard. Okay. Then the menu. This is where you can get into the image settings, audio modes, power settings, and the information. The information has, let's see what we have in there. So it tells you what it's running at the moment. So if you have a source running, you can press the information button and it will tell you what settings you have at the moment. You can adjust your image settings and sound settings. In addition, you can see what this image is being displayed as. We can see it's actually 2160p, which is 4K, and we can see that the display mode is cinema, that kind of stuff. So you can adjust and actually see how it affects the image in real time. The projector itself is very quiet. You can see we have a blue power LED light on the power switch. It's significantly quieter than the BenQ UHZ50. I don't know if you can hear the sound of the fan. So you can hear it, but it is in no way intrusive. So let's see how fast it shuts down. So let's press the button twice and it's shut down. It's almost in an instant. So there's one other thing that we need to look at, and that is this USB device, EasyCast device. I was wondering what it is. Apparently it is a USB wireless adapter. So I'm assuming that the projector will need this wireless adapter in order to connect to your home's Wi-Fi network. These are some quick, this is a quick information sheet, and plenty of useful information. I think the highlights are: in enhanced gaming mode, keystone is disabled. It confirms that. The projector has vertical keys, vertical shift and keystone. Well, no, just keystone. So you'll be able to shift vertically. And it also says that when using, it automatically detects HDR, and when it does, it switches to HDR mode and disables all other display modes. And it talks about the matching of dynamic range. So it says when viewing content that supports Dolby Vision and HDR10 on Apple Shield, NVIDIA Shield, or any other media device, please do not use the match dynamic range setting, as this will result in the player forcing Dolby Vision, which will result in inaccurate color. So that may be the thing that people were complaining about in the UHD50X, and possibly this one as well. The model ID of this EasyCast is EZC5201BS. So we're looking at the promotional video for the UHZ50, and the reason for that is I've sent my unit back. It wasn't quite working for me. But for the rest of you, I think it's going to be just fine. Projector Central have just released a review of the projector, and they rate it as excellent. And I think one of the reasons why I'm not a really good reference is because I'm used to this lovely Samsung plasma TV that just provides an excellent image. I have watched the BenQ HD 2050 recently, as well as the HD 5550, and that has kind of brought me a little back down to earth. But then they also have strengths that I'm looking for that the Optoma doesn't. For most of you out there, I think the Optoma is going to be an excellent experience for you. I'm going to link the review of Projector Central below, so just check it out for some further information on the projector. Hey guys, you're still there? Thanks for bearing with me. This has been an exhausting production. There's just one last thing that I wanted to mention. One unusual consideration that came to mind with the projector, and that is power consumption. Your average projector actually produces a lot of heat. The BenQ, for example, consumed 330 watts, and that actually made a difference to how my room was heated. So during the summer, with the other things that are heating the room, it actually became a factor of concern. With the Optoma actually consumes about 100 watts less. I believe it's about rated at 230 watts, but in actual fact, one of the reviewers tested it at 200 watts. Not the greatest, but it's more than 100 watts below the BenQ itself. And I think that is part of the reason why they were able to encapsulate and seal the light engine on that projector. This Samsung plasma TV, I think, consumes about 400 watts, so this is like a real proper winter heater. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging in there. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and bust up the popcorn so we can all enjoy ourselves. Thank you so much for watching.